What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You with another episode of Black Fathers Now. And I have a really cool conversation today. And it's with a brother that's doing something in an area that some of us as dads with kids question. And the guy that I have is my man, Cleveland Hilton. Now, Cleveland's originally from Mobile, Alabama. He is an HBCU grad. He's a graduate of Alabama A&M. He currently works in education, but he's also a huge gamer. So you'll find him on Twitch and all these other gaming platforms. I'll let him, kind of expound upon that. But he's also, in the social climate that we've been living in over the last few months, he's now come to a place in which he's using gaming as, in his platform on gaming for social justice as well. So we'll dive into that. But brothers, I want y'all to welcome my man, my friend, Cleveland Hilton. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
How you guys doing?
Well, I'm doing well, and I assume those on the other side of this thing are doing well too, because they listening to Black Fathers Now. They can't help but to do well. and listening to dynamic stories like my man Cleveland Hilton, I mean, you can't help but to be living on cloud nine, man. So yeah, no, I'm doing well, brother. I appreciate you for coming on and taking time out of your schedule, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate it.
No doubt. And so before we get started, I always like to have the brothers give shout outs, because the tagline of Black Fathers Now is bringing the village to the brothers. And so who are we without those folks that have allowed us to get here or have helped us to get to where we are today, but then also those that may be on a day-to-day basis support us. So before we get started on your story, give a shout out, brother, to those that are helping you do what you do.
Well, first I want to give a shout out to Mr. Olivier, who's actually one of your guests on the Black Fathers Now podcast. We were able to do our own podcast, which is Football Be Football. So shout out to Olivier. That's my boy. So we're rocking out podcasts. Then also I want to thank everyone in the City fam, which is basically my Twitch followers. So shout out to the City fam that helped me not only push this Black Lives Matter agenda, but also help with social injustice by helping me doing my stream and making my job a lot more easier. So shout out to you.
Gotcha. You said City fam? Yeah. Okay, gotcha. And we'll let you, I guess, expound upon that in a little bit, because that's within your Twitch community, correct? Gotcha. Well, cool, man. And so, and he referenced Olivier Muhere, which was one of the guests or previous guests on Black Fathers Now. And if you've not gone back through, you need to go back through Black Fathers Now and just Google or search Olivier Muhere. His story is absolutely amazing. He's a mutual friend of both Cleveland and I's. And Olivier is originally from Rwanda, and the brother's doing his thing in the realm of education, but he also is doing so knowing or living through the Rwandan genocide. So he grew up and lived through that and had an amazing journey and story. And we expound upon that in his episode of Black Fathers Now. So make sure to search back through to Olivier Mujeres to learn his story as well. So that's who my man Cleveland was referencing. So you gave your shout outs, man. And we gave a little bit of your intro. Jump into your story a little bit, brother. Like, you're in education, but then you're also in gaming. Talk to us a little bit about some of the inspirations and the things that led to you getting to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just to start off, I come from a small town called Calvert, Alabama. It's about 20 to 30 minutes from Mobile, about 40 to 50 minutes between any grocery store. You have to drive literally 40 to 50 minutes to go there. So, stated I'm the only child. So, I had to do something. My mom was like, you too hyper. So she brought me a system called the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. I was about 3 to 4, and then I got hooked. And then when Super Nintendo came out, that was a wrap. So that was my pastime hobby. And of course, I'm still based in that generation where you still had to go outside and play and make sure your butt was back in before the lights went out. But still, during that time, on weekends, I really got into gaming. My personality, I always want to help people, right? So me being the only child, I kind of went the other way to the spectrum of wanting to share things. I wanted to share things with my friends, with my family, people I was close to. So I think that was like the caveat that was in my mind, that I wanted to help So that definitely helped guide me to where I am now, helping other people in education, these kids, and paying it back forward.
So basically, again, gaming, like, I'm from the era. I remember when I think I was 9 or 10 when we got our first Nintendo. So it was, I kind of grew up in that particular generation as well. But it's funny, you do bring up the fact that we're from the generation where you had gaming, or it wasn't gaming like you think of it now on a mobile device, but you had, entertainment systems at the house, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, whatever it may be. But you also had the duality of being required to also go outside and play and interact. So the notion of just sitting at home and gaming, which now seems to be a norm for kids, especially with their mobile phones and mobile gaming and, gaming online with people from all over the world, it seems to be more of a, more of a reality in which kids don't have to go outside because they can just game 24/7. We didn't have that option because we were only limited to those folks that were connected to our system sitting in the room next to us,
Right. Exactly.
So it's like this different perspective. And I think because of that, we came from the scenario, from the era of there was outside play and gaming. And so some of us kind of poo-poo gaming, meaning some of us see a kid gaming and we automatically say, like, man, put that game down and get outside and play. Talk to us a little bit about the new generation of gaming, the evolvement or the evolution of, online gaming as well. Talk to us a little bit about how that's come into play, but then some of the pros and cons of it in today's day and age.
Right. I mean, you hit it right there, Mike. If you think about our generation, we had the home console, but that wasn't the most exclusive thing that we do for as far as entertainment. We actually had an arcade. Arcades was a big thing. You actually go earn your money to get your quarters, play it, and then that's how you got your community there, right? So those generations, some of those people and Black followers now have matured, right? So it's synonymous, like, well, these kids are lazy. Back in my day, I had to go to the arcade. I had to go and do that. But it's just a different way. Change energizes us. That's my motto. So what those changes is now everything is online. Due to the financial impact of from the 90s to the 2000s, arcade cabinets are not as relevant. Malls are not even relevant now due to Amazon. So it's hard to have a place where you can just have that community. So it switched to online. So PlayStation, even Sega Dreamcast, in the 2000s had, in the 1990s, was trying out to do that internet thing. If you wasn't a PC gamer that had LAN cable, you just had to stick with your friends. That shift into that online gaming has really opened up the floodgates of gaming and then interacting with people. That's what came into the beginning of Twitch.
Yeah, hold on, because you mentioned something. I was catching on the concept of the interactions between people, because when we think about, and again, this is the mindset shift, brothers, for guys who have kids that are into gaming and all of that. Back in the day, you were limited to interact with people based from a gaming perspective, based off of folks that were in your room with another controller or the people that you were physically interacting with in the arcade. Now, because this thing is decentralized and everything's on mobile or data or whatnot, you have the ability to communicate with, network with, and build with people from all over the world through your gaming device. And so kids are, and you mentioned the concept of how things change and evolve. Kids are still building community. They're just doing so through a different means or through a different muse or with a different methodology. And in 2020, that methodology for a lot of kids is gaming and using these online gaming platforms.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting.
I think you hit it right on the head. Yeah.
That's a really cool perspective, because we have to explain that, because again, if you're not in the world of gaming, you just think they're out there zoned out doing this. But in a way, they could be building community. They could be building skills. They could be building hand-eye coordination and figuring things out and strategizing and problem solving. They could be doing all of these things, but just through a muse that you don't understand.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think with the with Twitch now and all of those, we call them those broadcast systems. Used to be Mixer, but Mixer is gone. We have the webcam now.
Mm-hmm.
So even then, you're focusing on how you're presenting yourself, how are you talking, how do you, how do you look? Are you looking professional? So there's so many ways that you can help on the social aspect side too, because that is also a stereotype about gamers, is that they're not social. They're boots. So,
but it's funny. Stereotypes are rooted in perceptions, and perceptions are rooted in your experiences. And so again, generationally, right? You take somebody who's over the age of 35, thinking about what did that prototypical gamer look like from when I was a kid. And it was, the kid, the dude who doesn't have any friends, that sits in his mama's basement, hadn't taken a shower. Pocket protector, hadn't taken a shower in 3 or 4 days. And he's got headphones on and he's sitting there, gaming on his computer or gaming on a system. That's the image that we have. But to your point, it's funny how things have shifted because of webcams, because of video, because of presentation, but now because of the platform in which you have gamers who are getting full scholarships to go to school, as gamers. You got interscholastic gaming teams where they compete with other colleges from around the world, in gaming or on various games. You have to present yourself well and you have to communicate in a certain way. So you're actually building life skills through gaming. Wow. And it's funny. I'm going to throw it back to you in a second. I think back to the notion of you're in education, but then you're also a gamer, how that intersectionality makes you a prime entity to connect with young folks, specifically young boys.
Oh gosh, yes. I would say that's one big thing. During the summer, we have the Boys and Girls Club here. So they look forward to, it's like, okay, Mr. Hilton, I know he's a gamer. Can you come see me on Street Fighter? Yeah, and I'll play with you. And then that's just another connection piece of those kids. It's like, okay, all right, we're doing this, but you need to make sure you're doing your homework. You're making sure what high school are you going to? Are you thinking about career investment? Because with anything, moderation is key, right? So you can game, but make sure it's in moderation and making sure that you have a balance in your life. And I think those stereotypes are changing now because of those are building those life skills. You can actually get a career in gaming. So it's a multi-billion dollar industry now. So
that's interesting. And so when you think about that and we think about the positives to gaming, because you're in the midst of this, what are some things that parents need to be aware of, maybe on the downside of gaming? Like, from a security perspective, from the standpoint of, young kids and how they can connect and interact with people, throw out some things that, parents need to be aware of as well, brother.
All right. Well, first, parental control. Okay. That's first key. When everything is online, everything is digital. You can't go to physical places, but most kids are going to say, hey, mom, can I get the credit card? I need V-Bucks for Fortnite or whatever game. So you need to make sure you have parental control, know where your money goes, because there are some horror stories where kids buy over $300 worth of virtual items for a game that's going to last for about a year. Okay, so parental controls with that. You can also use parental controls for your consoles and your PC to actually stop the game, right? So 2 hours, if it's going past 2 to 3 hours, gaming recommends every hour that you take a break, you stretch, you move your eyes around, because it creates eye strain and you don't want to get blood clots, right? Some people game 4, 5, 6 hours. No, I'm one of those people, but I make sure I take a break and stretch and do that often. Second, you need to make sure moderation is key. One thing that helped me also have control, I think, is a mental thing, is my parents would not let me play the video game Monday through Friday.
That's good.
That was the thing. Monday through Thursday, you cannot touch that game, right? Monitor TV, but you need to make sure you're doing your homework, and education is key. That way, you can also reward your kid, because they'll be looking forward towards the weekend, right? So more family time, but also playing video games. So you connect that piece. So that's a psychological thing. And other warnings is just make sure that you monitor your kids when they're gaming with those headsets. When they go into those multiplayer games like Call of Duty, there could be a lot of racism, could be a lot of slurs. Just make sure that you monitor and take care, because you can actually connect your Bluetooth to that video chat listen what they're talking about.
So that's actually a big one.
Yeah, big key.
And what about like as far as like, again, they're virtual, but the notion of connecting with people and guardrails so that you can either train your kids, hey, this is just a game, do not meet anybody from all of this. Like what are your recommendations there, dude?
Recommendations there is this kind of like what I did when I started my Twitch. I didn't put my face up. I didn't put any type of information. So make sure your kid does not divulge or say anything about location. The next thing I would say is state. I'm from this state, and that's it. Age is also, but you need to make sure that you watch your kids' friend list as well. What I would do is I would monitor your kids' friend list. Ask them each and every one. Every kid is going to have 1,000 friends, but they're going to have 3 to 4 that they always talk to. They're always going to play Call of Duty. They're always going to play whatever game with. You need to make sure that you ask those kids, ask your kid, who are these people? Where are they from? And if it comes to push comes to shove, let me talk to them personally.
Man, fellas, I hope y'all are paying attention. Ladies too, because y'all tune into what we're talking about. But this is applicable to anybody with kids who are in gaming. There's a huge upside. I mean, kids can go to college for free. There's opportunities. Right. There are people making millions and millions and millions of dollars gaming right now. That is legit. But there's a double-edged sword to this, because on the flip side of it, you have to monitor, especially minor kids, their interactions. A couple of the tips that Cleveland left, he was saying, you got to monitor, spending, because some of these games have in-game purchases and you can blink and, the kid to spend a few $100 or more, right, buying things within the game. And so you have to put stop gaps or guardrails in place, but be very mindful of that. Another one is time limits. He said the gaming consoles or the games recommend you to take a break every hour. But a lot of people don't always do that. But there are some dangers to staying locked into a game for a considerable amount of time. Put time limits on your kids. One of the things he mentioned was his parents didn't allow him to play games Monday through Thursday. So it was kind of a weekend thing, which could also be leveraged as a reward. And it's funny you say that. My mom, Maggie Dorsey, will probably nod her head listening, because she did that with games and with TV. Yeah. So during the week, man, it was struggling. It was like the struggle bus in regards to playing our Nintendo and watching TV every so often, like the Cosby Show or something like that. But yeah, but that's why we went ham on TGIF on Friday nights. We were like, man, shoot, we've been deprived all week. So, but anyway, moderation is a recommendation. Another thing that he says, if your kids are playing on these platforms, location blindness. Make sure that your kids keep basically don't give away specific locational information about themselves. So the most they could probably give away is maybe their state, but even then you probably need to just encourage them to not give any information out about their real name, where they're located, and all of that, because there are some savory characters out there. And so as they interact with people out there, you think about interacting with strangers, make sure that your kids are location blind, meaning they don't give away information as to where they physically are. And then also, and this is the last one that he dropped, which is extremely important, make sure to go through your kids' friend list. And I would say if your kids, under a certain age, if they're on social media, you need to do the same thing as well. You need to go through if they got an iPhone, go through their contacts. If they got a regular phone, you need to go through all of that and see who they're connecting with, who they're texting. I think that's extremely important as well. Again, under a certain age, because you just want to protect your kids, because sometimes they don't know what they don't know. And it's our job as dads, as fathers, as Black men to protect them. So fellas, pay attention. Cleveland dropped some gems there for the kids who are gaming, because that's just the reality of what's going on, but to be mindful of, so that, they can have a good time, but you can protect them in the process.
Right.
Dude, that's some good stuff, man. And so you threw out the name of the term Twitch more than once here. Can you explain Twitch to the audience for folks that maybe aren't in the realm of gaming?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to go with jargon. I'll go ahead and explain it to you guys. So Twitch is basically an open broadcast system where you can actually host and actually put videos to you playing video games. So think of it as like ABC, MSNBC, those broadcast systems on television. As you, the individual, you're able to have your own channel on Twitch. So for example, my Twitch channel is at Cleveland, not the city 1. You tune in, you come in, I have my own music, I play my own video games, and I interact with people via the chat. And so people be able to chat with me. And then also there's another app called Discord where they can actually come in my Discord, actually talk to me via telephone call. So yeah, that's basically Twitch, and you can do a multitude of things. It's just not gaming. One big Twitch person is all he does is just he's just an artist. He just every day he draws something, and then he's able to sell it and give it to people that are in his following.
Really,
so that's very unique things you can do.
So Twitch is not just a game. I mean, it's primarily probably 90% gaming, but there are other methods for utilizing it, another platform to connect with people in essence.
Yeah, it used to be 90%. I think 80% now. 20% of people do IRL streams, which is just what we're doing right now. It's chat. There's a category called just chatting. You just talk about relevant issues or whatever you want to talk about, cooking channels. So yeah, Twitch has evolved over the past years.
Sure. Wow. That's interesting, man. And because I hear Twitch being mentioned a lot on various platforms and people talk about it. And kids, if you mention Twitch to if you mention to little kids under the age of 10 or 12, they're going to probably under the age of 16, they're all into it. Like that's just their thing. Yeah. And but you're very much, in the world of Twitch, and you're utilizing it to game and stream your gaming and do competitions and things of that sort, correct?
So what makes my Twitch unique is that I actually do charity tournaments where I promote Black businesses, doing breaks. I do fighting games. One fighting game that I do is Tekken, which is huge in the fighting game community. I also do boxing style events where at the same time, while we're doing that, I'm also pushing an agenda that Black Lives Matter.
That's interesting. So you're basically hosting a Twitch channel, and this goes to what we mentioned in the intro, how you're using gaming as a platform to push social justice. And so with your Twitch channel, I'm trying to get tongue tied. With your Twitch channel,
do it all the time.
That's like a tongue tie. With your Twitch channel, say it 30 times. So with your Twitch channel, what you're doing is you're using that as an opportunity during the breaks to promote Black-owned businesses and push various social agendas that are out there under the scope of Black Lives Matter. Correct? That is fascinating, man. And since you've been doing that, like, what's been the response to your promotion and your interest in the space of promoting Black businesses and Black Lives Matter?
That's a great question. Well, it has been very unique. I would say that for at least I'm getting a lot of great reception from it. People have said, well, never seen this before. I'm glad this is happening. So there's a need. So I'm glad we're on this platform because I don't want to be the sole person. So there's anybody that wants to be into Twitch and you say, well, I'm not a gamer, but you can do IRL streams or just chatting. It's to promote social justice. So I've got a lot of great feedback and I've got a lot of support, including you. So I appreciate you for your support as well.
No doubt, man. And it's interesting with that because when you think about various platforms, a lot of times we get very dogmatic in regards to I'm stuck in this. Like I only use Facebook to do this and that's it. I don't want to learn Instagram. I don't want to learn Twitch or Snapchat or, whatever other 1, 2, 3 social network that pops up, every week. But the thing is, we have to be mindful of each particular platform has a different type of audience. And so if you're looking to get to a specific audience with your message, with your content, you need to become well-versed in those different platforms. And so Twitch, I guess my understanding or my assumption, because I'm not, heavily invested in Twitch myself, my assumption would be if you're looking to get to a younger demographic, that would probably be a legit platform. Can you talk a little bit about the demographics from your understanding of Twitch and who you would be interacting with should you kind of learn and play with that particular platform?
Yeah, so this basically, if you're on Twitch, you're pretty much going to get a younger platform. But the way that I catered my channel, the way that I catered how I was doing it, I made it a little bit more adult, right? So I didn't make it adult rated. I just made it more adult, more mature audience. So my demographic, you're looking from 20 and up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the majority is 20 and up, the minority or young gamers that come in. So I don't, I get some young gamers, but I kind of get like due to maturity, they don't get to my channel because I'm not as YouTube happy, I guess. I don't go, with the huge bright colors, the attention grabbing, what I am is I use black and gold for fonts. I use real life issues. I tell tips about telling people like these young generations, 20 and up, buy your stock, invest in things. I have a quote for today. I'll talk about Black Lives Matter. I'll talk about everything under the sun. Just to keep that agenda going of just social justice and also financial literacy. Sometimes I'll just stop the game and I just have a thought and I'm like, hey guys, are you working on your budget? So that's just how I catered to get that channel. And it took a while because I had to find myself. And the reason why I thought of that charity tournament, I'm gonna go back to Olivier. So Olivier at our job wrote a powerful letter talking about social injustice. And I've always been a person that believed in Black Lives Matter and that we need to make sure we do better, and America knows this. But I never had I don't know. It didn't wake up into me. It didn't wake up until Olivier did that. I just I am finna change my Twitch channel to cater towards that. That way, if you are Black or a person of color, you're gonna feel comfortable in here, and then we hear you, and we're gonna listen. So that's the origin of the
that, man, and that's such a powerful thing. And you dropped a few different things there. I mean, first, the whole concept of there was something inside of you that needed to be sparked. And it was the letter written by your colleague that sparked this thing that was already there to come out, right? That was one. The other thing was you had something there. You just did not identify the method to deliver it. Right. And so to your point, you wanted to do something, you wanted to say something. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters listening to now. There's a lot of brothers listening that, to be completely honest, have something that they want to say. It's like, I got something to say, but I don't know how to say it, or I don't feel like I have the platform or the method to say it. My whole thing is, if you start walking in purpose, things open up for you to do that. Your gifts will make room for you. And so to your point, there was something that was there. It took this letter written by your colleague to spawn it or to become the catalyst. But then once that became the catalyst, you were then open to realizing something that you were already doing. And that was hosting these events and tournaments on Twitch. And now you have the inspiration or the why behind it. And you also have the method through this Twitch channel to promote social justice. And what's interesting, you also dropped something there. I think there's a lot of wisdom that folks might gloss over. You mentioned that your channel is geared towards those that are 20 and up, which still skews younger based off of the other social media platforms, but 20 and up. But you're not being exclusive of the young people. You're just talking about things that resonate with an older demographic. So when you're thinking about promotion, when you're thinking about marketing, when you're thinking about messaging and communication, fellas, don't get so caught up in trying to be anti this or anti that, or trying to be so bent on being so exclusive in how you operate. Just figure out your messaging, your purpose, and your delivery, and deliver that. And to be honest, your tribe will come to you. And if you want to speak to older people, then, or the elders, speak about topics that resonate with the elders. If you want to speak to middle-aged folks, speak about things that resonate with middle-aged folks. If you're trying to connect with teenagers and young adults with your messaging, speak about things that resonate with teenagers and young adults. Cleveland did that. He wasn't exclusive. He wasn't saying I'm being, exclusive of the young folks. Like, no, I'm just going to speak about things that resonate with those that are 20 and up. Powerful, brother.
Yeah, and it took a while, and it takes a process. So to let your audience know, it takes time. And just to give you an example, I didn't have the idea to promote the Black businesses. It came to me from a follower of mine, someone in the City family, aka the City fam. He talked to me. He's like, man, I see what you're doing with this charity tournament. It just takes that seed. So that seed from Olivier helped me grow the plant to do the tournaments
Mm-hmm.
and give money to Black Lives Matter and Breonna Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
That seed gave it to my follower. He said, we need to promote Black businesses while we're doing that because we have the max amount of followers that comes in there.
Mm-hmm.
The tournament where I did your advertising, Mike, we were top 5 on the Tekken channel on Twitch.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
Dude, again, man, your gifts will make room for you and you plant the seed. And, I heard something earlier today and it was talking about the concept of the seed. And it said, whatever the seed results in is always bigger than the seed.
correct.
Like that's
Correct.
So whether it's the fruit, whether it's the tree, whether it's the vegetable, whether it's whatever it is, whatever the seed grows into is always bigger than the seed. So just plant the seed and know that your harvest is always going to be bigger than the seed. And so, I applaud you for planting the seed, because the thing is, once you plant a seed and you start to water it, you start to add a little bit of sun, you start to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little fertilizer, you start dropping all these things on it. What ends up happening is that seed does grow. Now, we don't always know what it's going to grow into. See, that's the difference between an actual garden seed and a seed in your life. The garden seed, if I'm dropping an apple seed in the ground, I'm growing an apple tree, or I'm dropping a watermelon seed, I'm growing a watermelon. In your life, when you drop a seed, you don't always know what it's going to result in, but you have to have the faith to know that it's going to result in something that was bigger than the seed that was dropped. Marinated.
Perfectly said, Mike. Yes. That's exactly what happened with this. So now that we're here now, we have charity tournaments that are supporting Black businesses, and it's not going to stop. We're going to continue to grow this platform and be able to talk about social injustices and how we can help. And one thing that we can help is via awareness and monetary gain. So we will continue to donate.
Brother, man, fellas, listen to what Cleveland said, man. Walk in your purpose, walk in your gift, plant those seeds. Walk in your gift, walk in your purpose, plant those seeds. That's your job. Now, everything else, it'll come into fruition, but walk in your gift, walk in your purpose, and plant your seed. And so brother, when we think about this, you're in education, you're a gamer, you're running Twitch channels, you're doing things for social justice with Twitch and raising money for Black businesses, creating awareness for Black businesses, raising money for charities that are impacting Black folks within the realm of, Black Lives Matter. You're doing all of this stuff, man. How can brothers listening and sisters watching and all of that stuff, how can folks get in contact with you, connect with you, learn more from you, check out what you have going on? What's the best way for everyone to connect with you, brother?
Okay. Well, you guys can contact me via email at clevelandghilton@gmail.com. On social, that'll be on Twitter at Cleveland NOTTHE. So Cleveland not B. That would be my gaming channel also. And then you can catch me on Twitter.
You said Cleveland not what? I'm sorry, on Twitter.
It's Cleveland NOTTHE. So Cleveland not D.
Okay.
That will be my Twitter handle, and I'm there pretty much every single day on Twitter.
Okay.
Twitch every Tuesday and Thursdays. Saturdays, if we have a big tournament, is at twitch.tv/Cleveland not the city 1.
Cleveland not the city is your Twitter handle and your Twitch as well. Cleveland not the city
1 at the end. I don't know who took the first one, but yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Cleveland not the city 1.
Cleveland not the city 1. Cleveland not the city 1. So yeah, I'll make sure to have that in the show notes, fellas, so y'all can connect with them. So definitely, if you got questions, email clevelandghilton@gmail.com. On Twitter is Cleveland not the city. On Twitter.
Oh, Cleveland not the.
Okay, gotcha.
NOTTHE.
Gotcha. On Twitter is Cleveland not the, and then on Twitch is Cleveland not the city 1.
Got it.
Gotcha. That'll be in the show notes, fellas, so y'all can make sure to connect with Cleveland, get some insight, some wisdom, because the brother's doing some really awesome stuff. Make sure to support this guy, man, because we want to push these things forward, but then also learn, because learning from him may help you to connect more with your kids. And that's what this thing is all about. You dig?
Yeah, for sure.
And so before we get out of here, man, is there anything else that you like to share with the Black Fathers Now family about what you got going on? Any last messages, anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, well, I want to throw out there, I'm not trying to throw a monkey wrench, but we would love to have you, Mike, to come on our podcast, which is Football the Football.
Okay.
And that last part is spelled FUTBOL. You can catch us on Spotify, iTunes. Just type that in Olivier.
Okay, you say Football the Football. And I'm gonna tell y'all need to check that out, because that is he and Olivier's podcast, Football the Football. And again, the second one is spelled FUTBOL, correct? And so Cleveland is from Mobile, Alabama. Olivier is from Rwanda. So when you say football in Rwanda, you're talking FUTBOL. When you're talking football in Mobile, Alabama, you're talking FOOTBALL. So football v football is a really unique concept in which these brothers bring perspectives, dialogue, and debate from across the diaspora from 2 different continents. So y'all check that out. Again, Football v Football, wherever you get podcasts. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. And so y'all can check that out on Spotify or iTunes. Y'all check it out, subscribe, and support, man, because these brothers are doing some really dope stuff, man.
Hey, thank you. You're doing dope stuff as well, Mike, and it was a pleasure and an honor to be on the show.
Man, I appreciate you, man. And so thank you so much for sharing this insight on gaming, some tips for parents. Your contact info, again, Cleveland G. Hilton at Gmail, Cleveland Not The on Twitter, and then on Twitch is Cleveland Not The City 1 on Twitch. And we'll have that in the show notes, as well as the link to Football v Football, so you can check out his podcast with his man Olivier. And so we thank you, brother, for sharing and spending time with us today. Now, fellas, as always, make sure to subscribe to Black Fathers Now via all the social media channels. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, subscribe, leave ratings, and share. That helps us to grow in the search function so that we can grow this podcast and reach more people. And, I thank y'all for everything as always. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.